Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Wow, I am still very impressed by his story. And I'm so happy to be here with you today. I know we have a bunch of people joining us online as well, so hello to you too. How are you doing? You good? You're good? Okay. So I would like to talk to you today about how you can get noticed with smartphone video. And I think this is really important. I know we have a lot of young people here in the audience, being noticed, for people to know who you are, what you do, what your talents are. It's very important, right? But how do you do that? So I would love to talk to you about that. I'll show you some examples, and I'll also show you who my inspiration, some people who have really inspired me to start this journey with smartphone video as well. So I started my personal journey a long, long time ago. I started in television. I'm Dutch. Ik spreek gewoon Nederlands. But I lived in the United States, in Texas, of all places, I know. But I lived in Texas for 10 years. It's a wonderful place, by the way. If you ever go to visit the United States, don't only visit New York and Los Angeles, also go to Texas. It's really great. All right, so I started my career in television. My background is in journalism, so that's what I do. I tell stories, and I started in television news. Then I slowly moved on to video. I can tell you the whole story, but I won't bore you with that. But this whole decision of creating videos using just a smartphone was quite a big decision. And I remember being at this point where I was thinking, what am I going to do? Am I going to invest in another big camera, lights, tripods, or am I going to film with my phone and teach other people how to do that as well? And so I eventually decided to focus on my phone, and I am now helping a lot of other people how to create videos with their phone as well. And so I'll give you some tips and tricks on how to do that yourself, but the main focus is how you can use that, how you can use your phone, the camera on your phone, to actually get noticed yourself, to make connections online. And especially when you're young and, you know, trying to get out there, this is so important. And this might feel like a hurdle, right? Anyone recognize that? It's kind of scary. Put yourself out there. What? I mean, I totally understand that it's really scary, and it might feel like, ooh, like a little bump on the road, or it might feel like the Mount Everest that you have to climb, something you have to do, something you have to overcome. But I'll give you hopefully some tips today to get started there, little steps. So who am I? My name is Pelpina. That's my real name. It's a Malaccan name, and I'm really proud of it. But my name is Pelpina, and I create videos. I'm in front of the camera, behind the camera. I edit every single day. That's what I love to do, is I love to make videos, and I have loved it for quite some time. I now visit a ton of different companies to teach them how to make videos with smartphones themselves too. And I also wrote a couple of books. Really weird, right, when you write books about making videos. But I've done that. The two books, the first two books I wrote kind of failed. They weren't that, I mean, they were good, but no one really cared that much. This was a long time ago. But last year I wrote Video Smart, and that one actually became a bestseller. And that's a book about how to create videos with your phone. Hey, there's a theme there. So yes, definitely connect with me. Here's an invitation to all of you. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram, I would love that. Okay, so let's get started. Let me tell you how one post changed everything. Just kidding. It didn't. Sometimes you hear these great stories, right? So there was one video or one viral post or one thing that happened and it changed their life. Well, yes, there have been specific videos for me that really helped specific connections I had or things I did or speaking gigs. But it wasn't just one video. It was a lot of hard work, being very consistent, very persistent as well in what you do, and really believe in what you do. So it's a lot of work that you often don't really see, right? But let me tell you about this one post. This is probably, I really like how the play button is on my nose. That's nice. But this is probably about 3 years ago, maybe even a little longer. But this was around the time that LinkedIn started native video. So before this, you had to upload a video on YouTube or Vimeo, and then you could put it on LinkedIn. So there wasn't native video on LinkedIn yet. Crazy, right? So they first started native video, and I thought, hey, I'm just going to post this video about an app. I discovered this app called Clips. It's an app by Apple, and it automatically captions your videos. Pretty cool. So you talk to the camera and it captions. Well, at the time, this was all, super new, groundbreaking. So I created this tiny little video of me just showing this app, testing it. I put it on Facebook. Few people responded, probably family members. And then I thought, I can also put this on LinkedIn because there's this new function. So I put it on LinkedIn, and this was the very first post I put there. I had maybe, less than 100 people in my network. Was not active on LinkedIn at all, did not really do anything, there. Because I really thought LinkedIn is where you go if you're looking for a job. And I wasn't looking for a job. So, never really was on LinkedIn. Anyway, so I put this video on there, and as you can see, it had a lot of response. And I thought, this is weird. There must be a glitch in the system. I'm going to post another video. But the most interesting part that you don't see here is that I also had a lot of inbox messages and requests. Over 300 people who requested to connect. Many of them had questions, specific questions about this app, which to me was crazy, because normally if I post a video about an app or a video tip, sometimes I had, really nice uncles who responded, but usually not a lot of people who were actually interested in what I had to say. So anyway, this was a really interesting post for me, and it changed a lot in the direction I went in. Specifically, after this post, I posted a lot more on LinkedIn. So let me ask you, how active are you on LinkedIn? So you see the 1 to 5 here. So we have, of course, live audience member or people here, but we also, I think, somewhere have the online, the chat. So I would love to hear from all of you. If you are online watching, put a 1 if you say, well, not active at all. Maybe I don't even have an account. LinkedIn, what is it? I have no idea. If you have 5, then maybe you're active every day. I think that's a lot, right? That's a lot. If you're on LinkedIn every day, that is a lot. Or somewhere in between, maybe a 3. And then maybe the people here, you can just show me. So 1 for not at all, 3, a little bit, 5 for, well, I'm an influencer on LinkedIn. I know LinkedIn. There's 2s, 1s, 3s. No 4s? I see a 4. Yeah, I see 1. Oh, there we go. Oh, that row. Right. All right, a couple of 1s. Oh, there's a 5. Wow, I want to meet you. Active on LinkedIn every day. All right. Okay, so if you asked me this question a couple of years ago, I was not active at all. But one thing you need to know about LinkedIn, and I know we're all focused on Instagram and TikTok, and it's wonderful. I love it. It's just, gorgeous, all these creative reels and stuff. Really like it as well. But LinkedIn is extremely powerful. It really is. If you get to know the right people, the right companies, and LinkedIn can really do wonders for you. It has done for me as well. All right, this is what it's about, something I learned along the way. It's not about who you know, it's about who knows you, right? We always say, well, you really have to get to know the right people, and that's right, it's true. But what you really want is for someone to think of you whenever they have an issue, a problem, something they need to have, get fixed or whatever, they need to think of you. And if you are this, person on LinkedIn showing what you know, who you are, maybe, for me, I'm the woman on LinkedIn who always posts about videos. And so whenever I meet people on, network evenings and stuff, they say, oh yeah, you do something with video, right? With a smartphone or something. But at least they know, that's what I do, video, smartphone video. So think about that. Who knows you? It's not about who you know, but who knows you. Now, maybe there might be a little bumps, a couple of bumps on the way. Maybe you don't know where to start. You don't know, well, I don't have all the tools. I don't have the money. I don't have the skills. I don't know how to talk to a camera. That's not me. I don't know what to share. It's really scary. I don't know where to start. Video can be really awkward too. Now let's talk about these three things. So when I first started out, this was me long time ago, probably, oh goodness, now I have to say a year, 2007 or so, I guess. No, well, I don't know, 2006 maybe. I was a videographer at UNT, University of North Texas, and I filmed all the athletic games, so football, soccer, basketball, all that stuff, really heavy camera. Camera's probably bigger than me, but that's where it all started. And this is one of the things that people always are so focused on, the equipment. I always get a ton of questions on the equipment. Before I do a training or coaching, the first thing people will ask is, what should I get? What do I need to buy? What phone? Which microphone? What kind of tripod? Which is great. Equipment is wonderful. It's good. But it's really not about the tools. It's not. You can make really amazing videos with cameras that, on an iPhone 6, as we just heard, or I even filmed with an iPhone 4S when I was filming for a national morning news show in the United States. An iPhone 4. It's a long time ago. It had like 3 pixels. You can create terrible videos with amazing tools. Trust me, I've seen it too. And you can create very effective videos using simply your phone. What it's about is knowing the basic techniques, having a good message, and making a connection with someone else. If you know how to do that through a camera lens, which that's really difficult, but if you know how to do that, and if you practice doing that, that's what it's about. It's not really all about the equipment. So here's my advice for everyone who is just starting out and has no idea. Use what you have. You probably already have enough. So you probably have, your phone. You can use the camera on your phone. If it is an older phone, it's okay. I think we've talked about that enough. For a microphone, I have used headsets before, way back in the day, or as a backup. I remember I was at the NFI, Nederlands Forensisch Instituut. I don't know how you say that in English. The Dutch Forensic Institute. There we go. So I was there to film a couple of interviews with these very smart people, very smart people who just, know a lot of things that I don't. And this guy, who was very smart, only had maybe 10 minutes, right? So he's really busy, doing really important work. And I was there about to interview him, and the microphone didn't work. Happens sometimes, right? Microphone didn't work. They had ordered a microphone. It was sent to the company. We got there that morning, and it didn't work. So I asked, does anyone have a headset? Just a simple little headset. And we used, I'm sure you have one of these simple headsets somewhere laying around in a bag somewhere, and duct tape. And we just taped the microphone on him, and the interview went really well. And the sound was good. I mean, it wasn't wonderful, but it was good. It was good enough. The only thing is that the cord is pretty short. So it was a close-up. But that's okay. So use a headset. Try to use that if you want to improve your audio. Of course, there are a bunch of different microphones, and I know in the session this afternoon, you will deep dive into that. Tripod, if you don't have a tripod. I have used this trick many times, also a lot during the lockdowns last year when people were at home and there were no tripods you could buy online anymore because everything was sold out. I told people to just use tape. Simply tape your phone onto a window. Has anyone here ever done that before? Ah, look at that. 4 people. 5. Very brave. Yes, because it's a little scary, because it can fall off the window. But it works really well because you fix a lot of issues. First, you have good light, which is really important, right? Something you cannot really fix in post. You need to have good light. So if you stand in front of a window, usually that's good, you can put your phone at eye level and you have your hands free. So yeah, there's no excuse to have shaky videos. No, all you need is tape. Light, I just talked about natural light. Being in front of a window, really important. You can't really fix light in the edit. I mean, you can, but you don't want to. So good light is really important. If you stand in front of a window with indirect light, that's usually good. Or use a construction light. This is white light, right? You don't want to be directly in it, so you don't want to be standing directly in the construction light, of course. I mean, that would blind you probably. But what you want to do is if you have a white wall or a white ceiling, just bounce the light off the wall or the ceiling. The only thing is, if you have an older construction light, they can get pretty hot. I've burned my stairs that way, so just so you know. But if you have a construction light, it can really solve some light issues. Okay. And use apps. I'm not going to dive into this as much because I know this afternoon you're going to have an amazing workshop, but I mainly use apps for social videos. So the main app I go to is InShot. Anyone who knows InShot? Yes, it's really wonderful. I mean, I think it's really wonderful. But I use it for everything to crop my videos to square. If you put a video on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, you probably want it to be square, right? Square videos get more views. People keep watching videos, square videos, longer, and there's more response to a square video compared to a horizontal video. Anyway, so I crop my videos. In InShot, I add text, crop the video itself, add music, anything like that. And then there's also, I also want to talk about mixed captions for just a few seconds. Anyone who knows mixed captions? Yes, one. There's one. Marika, or not? Yeah. Yay. So mixed captions, it's a wonderful app because it captions your videos automatically. Yay. It's really wonderful. Have you ever captioned a video? Who has ever captioned a video? Who liked it? Who enjoys captioning videos? Right? No one does, right? It's terrible. So there's apps and websites who do this for you. So this app, a couple of years ago, Apple came with Clips, and there's AutoCap. There's a bunch of different apps who do this for you. But I mainly use mixed captions. It works on iPhone and Android. It's free to use, but if you don't want the logo, then you do have to pay. I pay, I think, 20 euros, and then I create maybe, 50 videos with that. I make short videos, but it's really worth the money. It's really not expensive. So that's mixed captions. I really wanted to mention that one. We will dive into editing a lot more this afternoon, so I don't want to dive into it that much right now. Okay, let's see, mixed captions, AutoCap. All right, talked about that. One person I want to mention, who knows Yusuf? Yes, there's two people. All right, everyone look up Yusuf Omar. He's a mobile journalist with an amazing story. I was able to meet him I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. He was actually here in the Netherlands. He travels the world to teach journalists how to use their phone to tell stories. He also has a platform, #OurStories. Anyway, he is a wonderful guy who started out creating a documentary using Snapchat. So he was interviewing people who wanted to stay anonymous. And so he interviewed them using Snapchat filters. Really interesting. So definitely follow Yusuf because he's just a huge inspiration. But speaking of production tools that you need to use, this is what Yusuf says. Believe it or not, I don't use anything. I don't use a tripod. I don't use a microphone. I get close to people and put my phone right close to their lips. And that's how he works. So sometimes, you can do that too, whatever your style is like. But he doesn't really use a lot of extra stuff. So I have for you, if you're interested, a little checklist, which I can send to you. I'm sure I can email that to you through the organization. Because whenever you go film, whether it's for a little vlog or perhaps like an actual business video or a movie, whatever it is, you need some basic checks. And if you forget the basic stuff, then it might mean you have to redo it. And that's no fun. So the basic stuff is audio, light, composition. But then there's also little things like airplane mode. When you're filming and you get a phone call, guess what happens? Guess what happens? Yes, it just stops the recording. It's no fun. Smile. We often forget to smile. I don't know if you recognize that, but sometimes, I interview people or they're in front of the camera and they have all the words right. We're so focused on words that we forget we're actually trying to communicate with people. And so we forget to smile or be human. So anyway, this is for you. If you want it, I can send it your way. Now let's talk about that last little part, smiling, being yourself in front of a camera. This can be a really tough one. To me, this was probably the biggest challenge. I really had to overcome a lot of fears to be in front of a camera. I had to overcome fear to be here, to talk to you. Most people think it's, you just do that because that's what you like to do. No. I usually just, this morning I couldn't eat. Just so you know, couldn't eat. Like I'm terrified, but I still do it. And when I'm here, it's fine. I'm okay. Don't worry. But just so you know, that it doesn't always come natural. It doesn't. And if it doesn't come natural to you, that's okay. I've been there, and I'm still there sometimes. And video can be awkward. So, question to you, and maybe if you're watching online, how comfortable are you in front of a camera? Say I would walk up to a camera, to you with a camera right now. How would you feel? Would you be a 1 running away, just hiding? You don't want to be on camera. Or would you be a 5 waving? Please me. Can I talk to you? I like cameras. So what are you? Maybe in between? Maybe a little like 3 or 2. I'm not too thrilled. What are you? So if you are online, can you type it in the chat from 1 to 5? And for you guys here, you can just hold up your hand. Are you a 1? About to die right now? Or 5? Ooh, I see 5s, 4 and 5s here. Oh, and this row is a bit more careful. It's very, 2 and 3s. Yes, 2 and 3s. Ooh, there's a 5, a 4. Very nice. Little 2. That row I haven't seen yet. Oh, okay. 5s and 2s. All right. So it's a mix. It's a huge mix. All right. I have some tips for how you can be a bit more comfortable in front of a camera, especially when you're terrified. So this is the story of how a shy girl turned into a confident woman. No, there isn't. There isn't one. I'm still shy. I just, you don't notice it as much now, but I learned to live with it. No, so camera confidence is really something you sometimes have to go through. And being confident in front of a camera can be when you are talking to a camera, right, in front of it, but also when you're behind the camera. I'll talk about that in a little bit too, but it goes both directions. So let's first talk about standing in front of a camera, and oh my goodness, the fear that you feel when you're in front of a camera. What have I done? What do I do to try and look human? The first thing I would like to say is, and I have interviewed a lot of people. I've been in front of the camera many times. I've probably filmed thousands of segments, and I'm not kidding. Done a lot of live streams. What I would say is, every time I go live, or every time I'm in front of an audience, the first minute or two, I feel like this. That's what I feel like, right, on the inside. Like, oh, I can't breathe. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? It's terrible. I can't. What am I supposed to say? What if I have a blackout? What do I look like? What will they think of me? All the things, everything that I'm sure you have experienced as well, right? When you do a presentation or when you are in front of a camera for whatever, for a live stream or a vlog. Most people I know go through that, and that's okay. So you just kind of feel like this, but I know now that that will pass. So if I feel that way, I try to acknowledge it, be kind to myself, be like, okay, so I'm feeling a little nervous. All right, well, that's okay. Be nervous. And it usually just goes away. Everyone I have interviewed, I see, the first couple of minutes, you see them tense, and then slowly they land. I always say, they've landed. And you see it, because then their breathing is lower, their voice is lower. You can see the expression back in their face. They're smiling again. They use their hands. So it looks like a human being again instead of a robot. So, okay, so that's, one good thing to know is if you're experiencing that, it's okay. Don't try to push that away, but just know that this is normal. Try to stand instead of sitting. I'm standing right now as well. If you do a presentation, usually it helps to stand, right? So see if that's comfortable, whatever you prefer. Keep recording. This one is really important. What often happens is this. So people will start filming, so you'll hit record. Usually, by the way, what most people do is they hit record, they immediately start talking. Recognize that? So you hit record, because you see the time going up. Don't do that. Hit record. Then breathe, take your time. You can take off the beginning. No one knows what happened in the beginning. I do really silly things to look kind of normal on camera, okay? I dance sometimes. Sometimes I hang upside down like this for 2 minutes just to feel a little, if I'm really stressed or something. I do that. No one knows this. Well, now you do. But no one sees this in the video, and that's okay, right? Okay, so you hit record, then you just breathe. It's good, oxygen is good. So you breathe and you do a little this or a little dance or whatever it is that you need to do to just be yourself. And then you start talking, and and then at the start it goes pretty well, but then you make a mistake. Oh God, no, you made a mistake. Then what do? Most people hit stop. Right? Because, you made a mistake, so stop. But listen, if you would do an interview with someone and they would mess up, they would say the wrong word, would you then say, okay, stop, that was not the right word, right? No, did not go so well, so let's do that again. Usually you won't, right? You just keep on going. And you really want to be that kind to yourself as well. So keep recording. Whenever you make a mistake, keep going. Just keep going. And maybe you end up with a 20 or 30-minute video. That's okay. You will take off the entire start. No one knows how many takes it took to get the right take. No one knows. And that's okay. That's all right. Okay, so give yourself time. Really important. Keep breathing. Oxygen is good. Practice, practice, practice. That is really what it's all about. Create. So keep practicing. And don't only judge yourself. So if you've made a little video, then don't look back and think, oh my, that's me? That's my voice, that's terrible. Whenever I do a training, in the first 5 minutes, we'll create a video. So people will be in front of the camera, and I hear everyone's insecurities. Whatever it is. Some people say they blink too fast. Some people say they have this scar. Some people, say their voice is whatever it is. And after a couple of minutes, people get over it. That's who you are. Hey, that's who you are. All right, Shay Rowbottom, I don't know if you know her, but if you are active on LinkedIn, I'm sure you have seen her. She is very active on LinkedIn with videos as well. And I love this quote, make a mess and clean it up later and become an expert at not caring what other people think. Oh, that is so difficult, right? So difficult. When you're creating a video, it's basically an invitation for people to judge you. It's really scary. And trust me, I get feedback sometimes that just makes me want to just cry and curl up in bed and never get up. People are mean, very mean, especially when it comes to videos. But if you can create this mindset and have this, when you're creating videos, just do it. Start somewhere. It doesn't have to be perfect. Start somewhere. Make a mess, clean it up later, and become an expert at not caring what other people think. This is so important, but so difficult. All right, I was just talking about camera confidence in front of the camera, right? So being in front of this camera, but also camera confidence also goes for when you're behind the camera, so when you're filming. So who of you films quite a lot? Like, I don't know, like on a daily basis, maybe? On a daily basis is behind the camera. Oh, just a few. Weekly, then. Who creates videos on a week? Okay, not too many people. All right. So this one is a big one. I learned this probably a couple of years ago. Or I learned this by doing, really. When I first started out creating videos, I was always over-apologizing for everything. So I would pretty much walk in, right? So if I would walk in here with my camera, I would be like, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I have to create this video, I'm so sorry I'm here. But I'll just be in this corner, don't mind me, I'm so sorry. It will just take 2 minutes of your time. Can I interview you? It's no big deal if you don't want to. I was over-apologetic, very self-aware that people did not want me there, because hey, usually that's the case. People don't want me to film them. But I've changed that by making a lot of videos. And it's really about being confident when you walk in and when you're there and being the ambassador for your own video. And when you walk in somewhere and you say, hey, I have this amazing video that you can be a part of, you're gonna love it. I mean, you just have the privilege being in front of my camera. How cool is that? And really involving people is, so important. So, ask people to talk to you wherever you are. If you have to create a video for a company, for example, involve everyone there. So important to ask around, to see if they have ideas, to ask them about their story. So really involve people. Dare to interrupt. This one was a big one for me. And I sometimes still find that difficult. So when someone's talking in front of my camera and they're talking, and I know that they're not, it's not really the thing I'm looking for. It took me quite some time to then say, oh, that's wonderful, that's great, but can we actually talk about this? Or could you repeat that? Or could you say that in one sentence? Because I'm looking for a short quote. So daring to interrupt was a big one for me. But that's something that also comes with being more confident yourself, right? Knowing why you're there and you have a mission. You're going to create a really awesome video, and that's why you're there, and you're on the same mission because you're looking for a good quote. And so it's okay to interrupt someone. Move around the room. This was really difficult for me because that means that you actually have to, be in front of people, and be close and be far away. And oh goodness, that was really, really scary. Vary in distance and angle, which means that yes, sometimes you're far away, but sometimes you're also really in people's bubble. And I learned that it's best to just mention that once. So you say once, yeah, I'm going to be pretty close to you, so hey. And then after that, don't mention it 5 times again, because then they become more aware of how close you really are to them. So yes, daring, that's what it's about. Don't be afraid to experiment. Just go out there, start filming. It's okay if the shots are not perfect from the start, and involve people. So this was a video we did, a few months ago. I was interviewing someone here at a Dutch company, and I asked people, so what is a spot here that you think would be great for a video? Why do you enjoy working here? Is there any, a place that you want to show me that you think, well, this would be a really nice interview spot? And so this guy was like, well, did you know that the lines here were actual train tracks? I had no idea. I was like, well, that's wonderful. Let's sit on the train tracks. If I hadn't asked him this, I probably would have just stood in front of him and we would have done, a very simple, regular interview in an office. But because I tried to involve him and I tried to ask and see the history of this building, he opened up a little bit and he told me about the things I didn't know. And so we were facing each other, and that actually turned into a pretty cool shot. So move around, try to involve other people who are in the room, and also move around while you're filming to create shots in front of people, next to people. You can ask them, hey, do you enjoy working here? Try to at least, pretend you enjoy working here. And so you see a little smile, close up to their hands. It means you can get pretty into their little bubble. So ask, involve, be a cheerleader for your own video. That will really help. So be confident, not just in front of the camera, but also when you're holding the camera. It goes both directions. This guy I asked as well, what is a good spot, or what do you enjoy about working here? And he mentioned this beautiful staircase, which I hadn't really noticed. He's like, well, I really like the staircase here. And I was like, well, that's an odd thing to like about a company, but okay. And so we did an interview on the staircase. This was all, with distance in mind. That's why we're filming with 2 different phones. So, dare to be you. If you're a bit awkward, be awkward. If you're loud, be loud. But be who you are, right? Not just in front of the camera, but also behind the camera. It really is all about connecting with people, helping them to understand why you're there, what goal you have. And if you have them on your team, then trust me, you're going to create a lot better videos. Okay, someone who is really themselves is Diana. I met her through LinkedIn. I've actually never met her. Diana lives in Australia. So I haven't met her, but she is wonderful. And what I love about her, you have to look her up. What I love about her is that she dances on LinkedIn. It's wonderful. So that's all she does, is she has all these videos and she dances. And the first time I saw this video, I was like, what is this woman? Why so much joy on LinkedIn? What are you doing? This is a serious platform. But she kept dancing. And now she's a well-known speaker. She has a ton of followers on LinkedIn. She's a huge inspiration to me as well, to just be you. Okay, one last thing I want to mention about being afraid or overcoming some hurdles. One thing I always do, and I did that right before I came on stage here as well, is instead of only looking who is in front of me, there's a lot of people in front of me and I don't even see the online audience. That's scary. Oh, you guys have a lot of eyes just looking this direction. That's really scary. But if you instead if you don't only think about the people in front of you, if you try to imagine the people who are behind you, who have been there for you, your tribe, right? The people who are cheering you on, even though they're not here, but you know that they would be cheering you on if they would be here. Imagine those people, and that always gives me a lot of energy, because you can think a lot of really bad thoughts right before you come on stage, or right before you film a video or do a live stream, but just imagine the people who are cheering you on. All right. Now, let's talk about the last little part. I don't know where to start. This is great information. This is wonderful. So I have to do something on LinkedIn? Okay, good. I don't have to be afraid in front of a camera? Okay, wonderful. Some super simple tools to start out, great. But where do I start? Well, here's the format to create a viral video. No, there isn't. Sorry. I know, you can check out a lot of wonderful research, whatever, and I have done that many times. How does the LinkedIn algorithm work? How do I get so many views on Instagram Reels? Which I'm sure, if you really want to, you can figure that out. But that's not why I'm here. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. To me, what it's about is making a connection with someone else. And in order to be able to do that, you have to understand who you're trying to connect to. So instead of creating a video and thinking, who am I? What do I have to show the world? What can I tell? What can I show people? Instead of doing that, maybe think of who is my ideal viewer? Who would I really like to reach? Who would I really like to watch my video? Who is that person? What are they going through? What are themes? What are their questions, problems? Who are they? So, in marketing, it's also called a persona, but try to start with your viewer. And the second question, which this was something I really struggled with for quite some time. I have a little confession. I used to be a mom vlogger. I know, it's really sad, but I actually mom vlogged for 6 months, I think, when it wasn't popular yet. So you cannot imagine this right now, but like years and years ago, we have 3 children, and when our middle son was born, there were no mom vloggers in the Netherlands. This is crazy, right? I know. He is 7 years old now, so that's like 7 years ago. There were no mom vloggers, and I figured, well, that's me. Someone's got to do it. So I'm going to vlog about diapers. So it wasn't for me. I did it 6 months and absolutely hated it, but that's okay. And then someone asked me, I love your videos, but I want to know, how do you make them? I'm just really curious about that, that part. That's why I watch your videos, because they're so well made. I was like, really? That's why you watch my videos? Not by how I change his diaper? So when she said that, I said, well, but I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on creating videos. So who am I to share my knowledge? And she said, but you don't have to be an expert. I just want to know what you know, like right now. So take me on your journey. And that changed everything. So once I had that conversation with a friend, I thought, well, maybe I don't have to know everything. And that's when I started posting that one little video about the app called Clips, because I discovered the app and I thought it was really amazing. And I thought, well, maybe I should just post that I discovered this app, and maybe more people need to know about this. So what I want you to know is maybe you are not an expert, and maybe you don't know everything, but you still might know a lot more than most other people. And people love to go along in your journey, really. So whatever it is that you do, you enjoy, whatever you can share, do that. And that can change too, right? So you can experiment. And if it's, first you're like a mom vlogger and you decide it's not for you, then that's okay too. All right, so these P's, the 3 P's I always start out with any video I create, whether it's a video for a company or like a simple little vlog I post online. The 3 P's. Who is your people, your viewer, your ideal viewer? We talked about that. What platform can you find your viewer on? So what is a good match for your viewer? Where can you find them? Is that Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, WhatsApp? Is it a company newsletter? Whatever it is. And what kind of format works best for that platform? So that is really, where you should start. Start with your viewer, see where they're at, and what kind of video matches your viewer. The third P is purpose. What would you like your viewer to do, think, or feel when they watch your video? Very important. But then, you create a little video plan, having that in mind. And it could be as simple as this. So sometimes I create, huge Excel sheets with like storyboards, and it's, with time codes and stuff. But usually it's something as simple as this. I think of the start. How am I going to start the video? What is going to make people stop scrolling? What do they really enjoy? What are some bad ways to start a video, by the way? Some ways that maybe might not be interesting.
Hey guys.
Hey guys. Yes. I'm so happy you're watching my video. Just like an introduction, right? A long introduction. Yes, something that might not be as exciting. Another bad way, logos. Is that really why people are watching your videos? Outdoor scenery, buildings, that might not be the best way to actually get people excited about your video. So always think about who is my viewer and what excites them. So what can I do at the start of the video? And usually, by the way, it's a human being. Usually we stop scrolling when we see a face. So maybe a quote, maybe a statement, a question, something like that. Okay, then perhaps branding, like logo and stuff like that. I always divide the video up into smaller parts. If you have a call to action, a CTA, it's always good to think about that as well. All right, so a video plan can be as simple as this, can also become super complicated, but start off simple. Start off small. Every video needs two things: a video plan, which is what you just saw, and secondly, a shot list, the visuals. We're creating a video, not a podcast. So you really want to think beforehand, what am I going to see? What are people going to see? How can I tell this story? What kind of visuals can I show? Maybe you can call ahead, before the video shoot and see, well, is there anything that is going on that day? Because you're really always trying to look for movement, right? If it's not moving, it's pretty much a picture. Not really, but so you're trying to look for movement. Any action is always good. Okay, so Richard Moore, another one of someone who really inspires me. He does a lot of things on LinkedIn and Instagram. But what I love about Richard is that he is very effective in his content production. If you see all this, it might overwhelm you a little bit, right? So you're thinking, goodness, I now have to start creating videos, but how? And how do I find the time? And how do people do this? How do they create a video every single week when they still have work and family? And how do you do that? So what Richard does, which I think is genius, every Monday he has a live stream. And he live streams on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook all at the same time. He uses StreamYard to live stream on all those different platforms at the same time. He has one topic. Sometimes he interviews someone, sometimes it's just him. And then after that 1 hour, he sends it over to an editor who then edits everything in smaller bits and pieces, takes out quotes, and then he has content for an entire week. That's how Richard does that, which I think, when I found out that that's how he did it, I thought it was genius. So here's his setup during the live stream. So he uses a bunch of different phones and also a webcam and a quote that we can't quite see, but it was to be efficient and frequent with production. He uses pillar content, so he uses one live stream to create a lot of extra content from that. So that might be something that you can do, even in a smaller way. When I create a video, when I have a video shoot, I often create or film at least 3, sometimes 5, sometimes 10 different videos in one shoot. Just change the top, no one knows. But it can actually save a lot of time. All right, so look at that. We've conquered everything. Now you know You know all of this. We're here. Yeah, not really. I mean, we can talk about this all day, right? And you can look at all these amazing lectures and meet all these wonderful people and look everyone up I told you about. But what it's really about is practice. This is the main thing you have to do, is practice. I have created many, many, many videos, and I've created many, many bad videos too. But that's how you learn. And this is a woman, Goldie Chan. Goldie Chan has created every day for 2 years, she created a video on LinkedIn, which is incredible. I met her a couple of times during some video conferences, and this has brought her so much, but one of the main things she always kept telling me is you just have to do it. You just have to go out, start filming, and maybe the first couple of videos are not that good. It's like baking pancakes, right? When you're baking pancakes, the first one sucks, it's not good. Second one's a little better, and then it keeps getting better. So just start somewhere. All right, to conclude, a couple of steps. The 3 Ps, remember we talked about those, people, platform, purpose. That's where I usually start. Whenever I create a video, I try to start off with my viewer and with a video plan. Work with what you have. Just look at what you do have. Don't focus on what you don't have, but look at what you do have and see if there's something you can start creating with the things that you do have. And use apps to film, to edit, and I know in the session this afternoon, we'll dive a lot deeper into all the technical stuff. Don't just be visible, really connect. The most important conversations online take place in direct message. So try to connect. Not just, in the comments, but also directly with people, direct messages. Try to get their phone numbers, make a connection, try to have a conversation. And that's how you can really start building. All right, my final quote is start small and go from there. This was actually something my mentor told me. Nan Goplerud is her name. She's a professor at the University of North Texas. When I was an international student there, and I got there with 2 suitcases, I had to find a job in my field. So I had to find a job in either television or somewhere in news. Otherwise, I had to leave the country. I mean, that's really what it was. And I got a job offer at ABC. It was a big station in Dallas, in a big market as well. And they called me and they said, we really would like to start working with you, and and I was really excited. And then I went to Nan, and I told her about this amazing news. And she said, oh, that's good. That's great. I'm so happy that they offered you this. But what are you actually going to do there? What are you going to learn? Can you make mistakes? And I was like, well, what should I do? She said, no, it would help a lot if you just stay where you are. And I was at CW, which was the smaller station, also in Dallas. And she said, stay there, start small, and learn. And I know in a couple of months, you will be in front of the camera, you will be behind the camera, you will develop your own segments, but that's how you learn. Start small and go from there. And it was really difficult for me to say no to ABC. And I called them and I said, I'm sorry, but I'm going to stay at CW. And they thought I was absolutely crazy. But it helped me so much because at the station I was at, I was able to do everything. And that, just doing, that has taught me a lot. So that's what I would like to conclude with and advise really all of you to do is just start small, go from there. Sometimes you move into a weird direction and you think, this is not it, right? No. And that's okay. It's all good. So you've got this. I would love to connect. And if you had any learnings from this session and all the other sessions, wonderful sessions, of course, we have today, please let us know. I would love to see your posts on LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever you are. But definitely, let's connect and I wish you all the success and good luck with creating your videos.
Thank you very much, Pelpina. Well, here we are, questions. I've got the mic box with me. Are there any questions? Do I see some hands raising? Oh, yeah, Eppo. Here you are.
Thank you so much for your very vivid and an inspiring presentation. I had a question. Is there a difference, of course, in the international market? You are, well, US Dutch, so the Dutchies do like not the high guys, but maybe I can imagine the Americans do like it. So what's the difference in that?
So when I first came, it's a great question. When I first came to the Netherlands, I had actually built a company in the United States in video production, and it was going pretty well. I was really excited. Then we decided to move back to the Netherlands, and I thought, I'm just going to continue what I was doing. Well, didn't quite work out that way. So the Dutch market is very different, and it took me probably 2 or 3 years to really kind of get something started. I wrote my first book, which I told you about when we first moved back. It was called Video Marketing in 60 Minutes. I think no one read it. So no one was ready for that. It's funny because then years later, people started buying it. And same thing goes for the second book I wrote as well. So sometimes, you know, you have something in your hands and you know this is it, you know, this is wonderful. More people need to know this. My first training, so I do a lot of trainings now, at least 2 a week. But my first training, I thought, well, this is it. This is wonderful. I'm going to do a training in this. I had 0 people who signed up, 0. And that took several months for people to even think, hey, maybe I should create videos myself. Maybe I should know how to do that myself. So the Dutch market was very different, yes. And it took quite some time to get there. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone?
Oh ja, Lotte. Wow, goed.
Oh nee, nou moet ik.
Yay.
Ik ben hier helemaal niet goed in. Oh,
Kom maar.
jij doet jij.
Ja, ik neem hem even. Ik ga het proberen, want dan zijn we weer bij Lotte. Dankjewel, April. Hop.
So, hi.
Hi.
What is your opinion on the fact that nowadays people can get famous overnight?
Yes.
You post one video and you go viral. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, it's wonderful.
But
On one hand, that it's possible, right? But also I have seen a lot of people, also close to me, become very famous very fast, and most people are not ready for everything that entails. One thing that happened to me when I was the mom blogger, which I eventually decided wasn't for me, was that people started walking up to me, people I didn't know, strangers, and said, "Oh, I've seen your videos, and how is your son?" And I was like, "Oh, you know my son. I don't want you to know my son." So things get very personal very fast, or they can. One thing I would say about that is when you do start creating your own content, what I love about that is that you decide what you put out there, which is wonderful. So I decided myself that I'm focusing not so much on my personal life, but I'm focusing on creating videos for businesses. And that is great for me. So, you know, it can be wonderful if it is a good fit.
Where did you find the most success in media? More in the US or more here in the Netherlands?
Ooh. I think it depends on what you define success is. I think in the end, definitely here in the Netherlands, there's a lot of opportunities here. But what has helped me in the last 2 or 3 years is also having an international audience. So being able to continue my work remotely Yes. So I think a combination, really. I think the combination was really what has helped me a lot. So speaking English, understanding international, like different cultures. I love working with different cultures. I now do a lot with L'Oreal, and I'm coaching all these salon owners all over the world on how to talk to a camera. And it's wonderful. You see an Italian guy who's very animated, and then there's this, German person who you can only imagine is a little less animated. So, it's wonderful. I love that. So I think a combination of both the Dutch and the American.
So find your own international audience that is interested in your videos or what you create.
Yes. Having an international audience can definitely help.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you very much. My question is, because you said there's a big difference between the Dutch audience and the international audience.
Yeah.
Was it just the sample size, or is there like a different way of how Dutch people consume? This is more of a question because most of us are going to enter probably the Dutch market. And
Yes.
production.
So what I can say, because this has been a while, right? So this is probably no. Oh, I'm really old. So 9 years ago, I moved back to the Netherlands. And that's when, what the main difference was that the Netherlands was not as commercial. So okay, for example, I created this video for a Dutch company, a video series, and I was able to get it sponsored, which I thought was great. So I had this sponsor, and I told everyone, well, this video is sponsored by so-and-so. And I sent it to the company, and they were just terrified, because why would I mention the sponsor? And it was just so, in your face commercial, which that was a huge difference between American and Dutch. I don't know if it's culture, but the way we created content. I do think that has changed. But it's funny because now when I see American content sometimes, I'm like, oh, that's so overly commercial. So yeah, that's one of the differences. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
No more questions? Everything's clear? I checked the viewers.
Oh, good.
But they didn't have any questions?
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your inspiring story,
you.
and I think you helped us a lot. So we've got work to do, I believe. So thanks very much, and see you online.
Welcome.